What is up, everybody, and we are back with the first Premier League predictions of 2019. We've gotten out of that phase now of games being played within a matter of days of each other, and now we're going back to the normal Saturday games with the odd weekday games, but we're going to get right into this. Now, last time I took on Bruce in the Premier League predictions, and unbelievably, I beat him. So for the second predictions in a row, I've beaten the opponent. So yeah, crazy times. So if we look at the Premier League predictions table, you can clearly see that Regan is still bottom of the league, and Bruce, a dog, is currently beating him. Still not done great. He only got 12 points, so he only got 4 results correct, but it's still good for him. If only Wolves had scored 2 more against Tottenham, I think it would have been, then it would have been madness, because Wolves beating Tottenham was already enough of an upset. Scoring 2 more, that would have been brilliant. So yeah, as you can see, Sam is still winning our Premier League predictions on the 25 points. So he's still top, so he's still to beat. But as we've got plenty more games left in the season, I think we've got about 18 or 17 games left. We've got plenty more people coming up to try and overtake him. I have beaten the... Now, you're probably wondering who today's guest is, as I'm clearly on my own. Today, I've got my mate from home to give me some Premier League predictions. We'll find out who it is in a bit, but first of all, we're going to start off with our first game of the weekend, which is West Ham United against Arsenal at the London Stadium. This is the reverse fixture of when we played Arsenal at the Emirates back in September. We lost 3-1 from a 1-0 position through Marko Arnautovic. Then, as usual against Arsenal, we concede a few goals, and the result looks very flattering towards Arsenal. I think due to our run, it's been a bit shaky in recent times. It's got a bit pear-shaped for Arsenal as well. They've started to lose a couple of games. They've had a dip in form recently, so obviously we can go into this game with some form of confidence. However, there's that whole thing with Marko Arnautovic and his agent, who also happens to be his brother. And there's been a lot of controversy over that, whether he's going to move to China, whether he's going to leave West Ham. I personally don't think he will, because West Ham put a statement out a couple of days ago about him not leaving and that he's going to honour his contract. So I don't think we're going to be losing Arnautovic in this transfer window. There might be a possibility that he could go during the summer, but again, we'll have to wait and see. So for the prediction, I don't think we're going to win. I think Arsenal will take this, but I don't think it's going to be easy for Arsenal. I think we are definitely going to put up a fight, especially with Samir Nasri playing. Obviously, know that Arsenal aren't big fans of him.
The mere mention of his name gets me mad. Samir Nasri.
But yeah, I don't think that, despite us beating Birmingham a couple of days ago in the Cup, I don't think we're going to come away with anything from this game. So I'm going to put Arsenal down for a 2-0 win. Next up, we have got Burnley against Fulham. Now, Fulham suffered a massive shock against Oldham in the FA Cup, losing 2-1, being one of the 6 Premier League teams to be knocked out of the FA Cup. So I'm thinking that their morale isn't going to be too high at the moment. While Burnley, I think they scraped through. I can't remember who it was against. I think it was against Barnet. I'm not too sure. Don't hassle me about that. But I think that Burnley basically got through the VAR controversy that's still going on. I think this could be a tight game because they both didn't play too great in their respective FA Cup matches that they had. So I think that Burnley won't win. I also think Fulham won't win. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. Next up, we have Crystal Palace against Watford at Selhurst Park. Now, Palace beat Grimsby 1-0 in the FA Cup, which was a standard result, but you think that Palace and Grimsby, you think that Palace would have scored more, but they're through, so can't really dwell on that. I think that Watford will, I think they will bring something to Selhurst Park. I think especially with Troy Deeney, with the form he's in, and especially as he had that whole thing against us. I think he's going to try and rile up the Crystal Palace stand. I think he's going to try and rile up the Crystal Palace fans, and I think that Watford are going to come away with this. I'm going to go for a 2-1 Watford win. Next up, we have a big relegation dogfight at the Cardiff City Stadium as Cardiff take on Huddersfield. Now again, both clubs lost against lower league oppositions in the FA Cup third round. Huddersfield losing against Bristol City and Cardiff losing against Gillingham. So I think that they're both going to want to bounce back, especially after humiliating defeats like that. I think there can only be one winner out of this. And I do think that Huddersfield will walk away with this. I'm going to go for a 2-0 Huddersfield win. Next up, we have Brighton against Liverpool. Now, Liverpool, after losing 2-1 against Wolverhampton Wanderers in the FA Cup with their B team, Liverpool will be hoping to bounce back, and I think they will. I think they're going to walk through Brighton quite easily. I'm going to go for a 3-0 Liverpool win. So for our final 3 p.m. game, we have Leicester City against Southampton. Now Leicester, as we know, lost 2-1 in quite a humiliating result against Newport in the Cup. And I think Claude Puel's team is going to go on a bit of a losing streak here. So I think that Southampton are going to turn them over. I'm going to go for a 1-0 Southampton win. For our final game on Saturday, we have Chelsea against Newcastle. Now, Newcastle drew against Blackburn at St James's Park in the FA Cup, while Chelsea beat Nottingham Forest in quite an easy game. It's a standard result you'd expect from a high team like Chelsea to beat a lower league opposition, and I think they're going to continue the winning streak that they currently have against Newcastle, so I'm going to go for a 2-0 Chelsea win. On Sunday, we have 3 games starting at Goodison Park, where Everton play against Bournemouth. Now, I think that Everton, this is a game that they're going to want to win. I think that Bournemouth, especially after losing against Brighton in the Cup, I do think that they're going to want to bounce back as well. So I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw. Tottenham Hotspur against Manchester United is our penultimate game at Wembley. Now, Tottenham have just confirmed that they're not going to be playing in their new stadium until March, the earliest. So there's still the controversy going about that. So I think that for now, I think Tottenham will want to win this, but I think considering what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's done with Manchester United so far, he hasn't really played against any big teams yet. He's played against the teams that's going towards the bottom of the league, hasn't really took on any hard or top 6 opposition yet. So this is a really big test to see if he's going to save Manchester United's season. So I do think that Manchester United can take this, but I think that Tottenham are going to put up a very good fight. I'm going to put Manchester United down for a 1-0 win. And for our final game on Monday night, 8 o'clock, we have Manchester City, the champions, against Wolves. Now, as I said before, Wolves beat Liverpool in the FA Cup to go through to the 4th round, while Manchester City beat Burton Albion 9-0 in the Carabao Cup semi-final. Bear in mind, it's the first leg, and they've got to play another 90 minutes at the Pirelli. Well, obviously Burton can't turn it around now, so they're obviously just playing for pride at this point. But I think Manchester City will want to continue their scoring spree. I think they've got 16 goals in their past 2 games, so they are going to want to bag a couple more within the next few games. So I think that they're going to want to do to Wolves something that they couldn't do back in August when they drew 1-1. So I think Manchester City will come away with this. I'm going to go for a 3-1 Manchester City win. So, as I said before, I am going to be taking on one of my mates from home. Now, obviously, he's not here. He's in Reading at the moment. So, I'm going to pass you over to Billy, and he's going to let you know what his predictions are. Yeah, yeet.
Hello, I'm Billy, and Sonny's asked me to do some predictions for him. I'm not great in front of a camera, so don't expect Botty S11 quality, but I'll give it a good go. We'll get straight into it, and we'll start with West Ham Arsenal because it is the first game and it's the club myself and Sonny support, of course. So, to be quite honest, I'm hopeful. I'm not encouraged by our chances of getting a win. To be honest, I think our defence is a big issue for us right now. Balbuena's out. That means Ogbonna plays, and he's a liability. Our fullbacks are pretty appalling, let's be honest. Cresswell or Masuaku, whichever one you choose, coming up against someone like Aubameyang, for example, is going to be an issue. And Zabaleta on the flip side is great defensively, but he's not got the pace to keep up with Arsenal's wingers. Even if Iwobi plays out there, it's going to be an issue. I am going to say Arsenal are going to win it, and I'm going to say 2-1. I think, to be honest, it is going to be a battle of whose attack is better, because both the defences of ours and Arsenal's are pretty shocking. So it's a battle of who's got the better attack. To be quite honest, much as ours is alright, theirs is better. I'm going to say 2-1. Next game is Burnley and Fulham. Two clubs that are pretty boring. Two clubs that I'm not fans of either of them, to be honest. Where are they in the table? So Fulham are 19th, Burnley are 16th. But there's only 4 points in it. Burnley are boring, and I don't like them as a club. Fulham, I don't mind quite as much, but I do really like Ranieri, and for that reason and that reason only, I want them to win. So this might be a little bit biased. I'm going to say Fulham, and I'm going to say 1-0. I think they need it more, because they are 19th and they have been in the relegation zone pretty much all season. I think they need it more. I assume they're going to want it more. So I'm going to say Fulham 1-0, but I'm not sure on that one. It's a tough one to predict. Another tough one to predict, because I think it's going to be a hell of a game, is Palace-Watford. I think Palace have found very, very good form. They've won 5 of their last 7 home matches, so that's encouraging for them. And Watford haven't done the double over them since 2001/2002 season. So based on that, I would say Palace, probably the more likely ones. They are 14th in the table, whereas Watford are 8th. But Watford have been consistently good all season. Palace have sort of just found their feet, and I think they've got the Brexit edge with the likes of Tompkins that Watford probably don't. I'm going to say Palace, and I'm going to say... Oh, I don't know. I'm going to say Palace... I really don't know for this one, you know. I'm going to say 2-2. That's what we'll go with. We'll go with 2-2. I think it's going to be a really good game. I think it's going to be a tough one for both teams. I'm going to say 2-2. Then we've got Cardiff and Huddersfield. Cardiff, for me, are one of the worst teams I've seen for a while. I don't think they deserve to be in the Premier League. And that's why I don't like Neil Warnock, but when I heard his name being mentioned to be sacked, it annoyed me, because for him to get them into the Premier League, that team is an achievement, and I think they should be building a statue, not sacking him. Having said that, can't stand him, can't stand the club. Really, really want them to lose. And I quite like Huddersfield. I think they're a good team. They try and play good football. It doesn't always work out as planned. But I think if they had a more clinical striker, you know, if they had Arnautovic, would be a totally different story. They would not be rock bottom, that's for sure. It's a case of them not being clinical enough this season. You look at a team like that, they should be really disheartened. They shouldn't be trying. They are trying. They genuinely are. And I think a team like Cardiff is the perfect team for them to come up against right now. Hopefully they can get a win. It'll be a platform to build on. Whether they'll stay up, I really don't know. I can't see it, but I want them to beat Cardiff, so I'm going to say they'll beat Cardiff, and I'm going to say 1-0. And just like that, we move on to Brighton versus Liverpool. Brighton have lost their last 6 matches against Liverpool. I can't see it changing anytime soon, especially tomorrow. I just think Liverpool are one of them teams where, at this point, I look at it and I say Liverpool are going to win, and they're a team where it could be 1-0, it could be 6-0, God knows. Unfortunately, I've got the job of making a prediction, and I'm going to go with 3-0. They've had a tough start. Well, I say tough. City, obviously, it's Man City, so I wasn't really expecting Liverpool to win that. And then Wolves, they should go out and want to win it. I don't think they did. I think they could have fielded a much stronger team if they really wanted to win it. They didn't bother. So I'm just going to forget about that match totally. They're going to want to win it. They've just lost to City in the league. It's time for them to bounce back, maintain that top spot. I'm saying 3-0. Leicester-Southampton. That'll be a tough one, because Southampton have been alright since the new manager's taken over. They've been quite good. Leicester, sort of, I would say, are more consistently good than Southampton. And Leicester have won 7 and drawn 4 of their last 12 home Premier League matches, only lost 1. So Leicester have lost just 1 of the last 12 home Premier League matches against Southampton, and that was in 2001. So who knows? The last 3 matches, though, at the King Power have all been 0-0 draws. So, don't know. Could go either way. I think it's going to be a draw, but I don't think it'll be goalless. I'm saying 2-2. I think Southampton have been a lot better recently, and they'll give Leicester a very good game. next is possibly a battering. Don't know, because the Chelsea are a team where you look at Chelsea's team and you think, wow, they're bloody good, but they don't always perform as good as you'd think. Coming up against Newcastle, I mean, Newcastle have been absolutely terrible this season. It's a shame to see, because Newcastle are a decent team, or a decent club. Was a decent club. But they've been pretty shocking. They sit 15th on goal difference. Chelsea are 4th. I can't see anything but a Chelsea win. I'm going to say 2-0. 3 games left. We'll go with, so we've got Sunday at 2:15, Everton and Bournemouth. Really don't like Everton, and I really do like Bournemouth. I think Eddie Howe's done a fantastic job this season, and they've just got Nathaniel Klein come in. And did they get some? I think they got someone else. I don't know if that was a rumour or if they actually did. Either way, I think Bournemouth are fantastic. They've been a really good team this season. Good to watch. You know, they try and play good football. They're sort of like the Burnley of last season, but with good football rather than boring defensive shit. I don't really want to say a good word about Everton because I don't like them. They've got a few good players who could flick a switch and make stuff happen. I don't think Bournemouth are going to be stupid enough to let that happen. Having said that, all 3 of their home Premier League matches against Bournemouth, Everton this is, they've won and scored 10 goals. So that's not encouraging. Bournemouth have lost all 5 of their away matches against Everton in all competitions. I'm going to say Bournemouth win. Based on the insights I've just read, I don't know why. Probably just biased because I can't stand Everton. I'm going to say 2-1. I think it'll be a close game. Good game to watch, hopefully. But 2-1 is what I'm going with to Bournemouth, the away side. Spurs United, tough one. I don't know which way this is going to go. If Mourinho was still in charge, I'd be saying Tottenham 100%. Really tough because United have been decent. It'll be their 3rd consecutive top flight win against United since 1960. United have lost 2 of their last 3 matches at Wembley in all competitions and have won just 4 of their last 17 away Premier League matches. But I'm going to dismiss that one because obviously Mourinho's gone now. I'm going to say Spurs, and I'm going to say 3-2. I don't know why, because I can't see Spurs scoring 3 goals against United, but let's change it. I'm going to say 2-1. 2-1 to Spurs, that's what we're going to go with. Nope. Final time, 2-2. I'm saying it's going to be a draw, I'm saying 2-2. And just like that, we move on to the last one. Hopefully I won't cock the scoring up quite as much as I did with Tottenham United. And it's City Wolves. The win probability, according to Google, is 81% City, 6% Wolves. I'm not even going to read the insights. They're irrelevant. I think City are going to win. By how much, I'm not sure. I think Wolves will score because they're a good side. I'm going to say 3-1 to Manchester City. I don't know though. No, 3-1. We're sticking with it. We're sticking with 3-1 Manchester City. That will round up my predictions. They've probably been absolutely terrible. If they're anything as bad as my betting is, I'm not hopeful whatsoever. But with that said, as much as I've predicted a West Ham loss, we can only hope for the best. So I'm still going to be cheering us on. Come on, you Irons, and back over to Sonny. Thank you for having me on Botty S11.
So, yeah, those are our Premier League predictions. You can see my predictions right here, and you can also see Billy's here. So, thanks to Billy for filming that for me. Basically needed someone to film it with, and I didn't really have anyone since I'm not back at uni for another couple of weeks, and the Arsenal game is probably going to be my last game. I was planning on going to that FA Cup tie away against Wimbledon, but it's literally the day after I go back to uni, so it's very frustrating, but nevertheless I am happy with the way that things are going at the moment, and I think that we can do something against Arsenal, and I think that I could take this Premier League predictions. I haven't seen what Billy's predicted yet, but I think that I could beat him, and hopefully I could climb up the table. Bill's going to hope that he's going to climb up it too. So yeah, if you did like the video, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next Premier League predictions, which will be with someone back at uni. So I'll see you guys then.